Awesome. Let's see if people are coming in. Okay, cool. Hi, is Shannon here? Oh, cool. I see you. Awesome. Let me bring you up here. Hi, Shannon.
Oh, I was muted. Sorry. I'm here. How are you?
How are you? Good morning.
Good morning.
How's your day? How's your morning so far?
Well, it has barely started since it's not even 8 a.m. So it's good.
I know. You're off to a very exciting January. I'm watching your stories and how I've been watching you taking these beautiful walks. Where
Yeah.
is that? Like,
So I live in Orange County and it's like jam packed with people, but I found this little like we call it the gorge. It's like this tiny little inlet between two housing projects that is like a little valley of older houses that have land, and there's a little horse trail around it. So that's where I take my dog every day so she can go off leash.
yeah, it looks really beautiful. I was like,
Yeah.
are you in Europe right now?
I wish.
'Cause it's like it looks very ranchy. Like,
Yeah, it is.
okay. That's what
Yeah.
I was getting.
It's like a hidden secret too, because it's like there's one way in and one way out, and like no one knows about it down this little hill. So it's the best place to go. Just take my dog and let her run wild.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, we had a really awesome summit yesterday.
Good.
Cool speakers, but everybody's super excited about this talk. Because a lot of people were like, oh, I want to learn more about Portugal property. And I think you have a lot of knowledge that we couldn't touch on yesterday. Because so Arnitha, which you guys should connect. I'll connect you guys later, but
Yeah.
she works primarily in Spain to help
Oh,
people
perfect.
get properties there. So she didn't really know about Portugal or France and like those regions. So I think today is going to be awesome because a lot of people
Yeah,
really want to
yeah, cool. I'd love to connect with her too, because I've been looking for some resources in Spain. Well, every country really, but yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for being here. Welcome. I see people starting to come in. If you guys want to drop in the chat where you guys are calling from, I'm in LA right now, and Shannon is in
Orange County, which is just down the road from you.
that's probably like 40 minutes with no traffic.
Yeah, so Sunday morning it would probably take 45 minutes, otherwise 2 hours, maybe more.
Yeah. Sunday's the only day that there's no traffic. Pam is in LA. Shitachi is in Fort Lauderdale. Oh, love Fort
Puerto
Lauderdale.
Rico.
Yeah, Puerto Rico. Qué
Nice.
bueno. Hablo español, Maite. ¿Cómo estás? South Carolina. Oh, my family's from South Carolina. They're from Charleston. Cool. Yes. Hola. Hello. Yeah, I've never been to Puerto Rico, which is kind of crazy. Have you been there, Shannon?
I have not. No.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard such good things about it. Cool. And we have Key Largo in the house. We have Punta Gorda, Florida, which I've never heard of, which is, you learn something new every day. So excited you guys are all here. Thanks for joining yesterday. Did you guys get a lot out of the summit yesterday? If you guys want to let us know what was your favorite part of it, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Feel free to come on video. We want to make this like a fun collaborative experience, and then obviously make sure you guys get the most out of it. So that's why I ask, come on video, make yourself present. We want to see you guys. We want to know that we want to see you guys like almost like that face-to-face live experience. So if you feel comfortable, feel free to put your video on. And then what else? Oh, we're doing a drawing. I don't think I mentioned it a couple times yesterday, but we were so into like the interviews that I kind of forgot to tell you guys after a couple speakers. But there are prizes that I'm going to be giving out at the end of the summit. So at the end today, I'll be announcing the winners. So it's $600 in value. The first place is $150 travel gift card that you can use for like any airline. And then with that first place prize, you'll also have a 1-hour strategy call with myself about your situation. And then second place is a travel backpack with let me drop this in the chat while I'm blabbing, with a 1-hour strategy call with myself. And then third place is going to be Shan's. We're going to give you the digital resource guide already, but also a 30-day membership to BHA, which is her amazing monthly recurring membership on me. So you're going to get that plus a t-shirt.
Actually, it's 1 year. You get 1 year.
Oh, 1 year?
So I'm giving away 1 year. Yeah. And just not to interrupt, but if you want to,
Amazing.
yeah.
1 year.
And
That's
then everybody who goes and gets and downloads the free resource guide will get a link to a membership with 30 days complimentary free.
okay.
So
Awesome. I love that. Okay, so the third place prize
that's
would be the 1 year membership for Bargain Homes Abroad, which we're going to talk about what that is. Just want to do some housekeeping first. And yeah, like if you guys can just keep yourself muted during the interviews, but the last 5 minutes, we're going to open it up for Q&A. So you guys can ask all your juicy questions. And then what else? Well, if you guys have to leave early, there's a lot of amazing speakers today. So we have Shan that's kicking it off, which I'm so excited about because she just like finds the most amazing properties in Europe and gives them to you so that you can go and get them. And we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about digital nomading a lot today, starting and growing your business with like Rachel Green and Shay Cannon. We're going to talk about creating like a time freedom lifestyle so that you're really truly free. And then we have one of my, to close out the summit, I don't know if you guys have heard of liveandinvestoverseas.com. It's like the #1 publication for living overseas. And they're like top authors for like Kathleen Petticord is like the top author for Live and Invest Overseas. I couldn't get her to come, but her right-hand woman, Sophia Titley, is going to be here. So I'm super excited about that too. So, okay, let's start it off. I'm so excited to have you, Shannon. Wanted to give you a nice introduction. So for all of you guys just joining, Shannon is the founder of Bargain Homes Abroad. It's a kick-ass Instagram and a platform that basically shows you guys all these properties that are move-in ready, and they are just like at the craziest deals. Like she basically finds these gems and like is just handing them to you, like from 50K to castles that are a couple 100K all throughout Europe. And she has a new membership that she just started, which is like less than a cup of coffee. And that's up for like the month, and you get access to all these different interviews about moving to Portugal, how does that work, and all this. So let me welcome Shannon. Thank you for being here. And if you want to add to my little intro and tell us like about you, tell us about Bargain Homes Abroad.
Okay, sure. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. Hello, everybody. So yeah, Bargain Homes Abroad was kind of born out of honestly the pandemic and being stuck in lockdown in California and really kind of reevaluating my life. I've always I love to travel overseas. I always look at real estate in Europe every time I would visit and get super obsessed and go down the rabbit hole when I got home of finding these homes. So, and I would just do that. And one day during the pandemic, I was really like going, okay, what's our 3-year plan? My son was still in high school. He's actually a senior now. I'm going to be graduating this year. My husband is a teacher and wants to, retire soon. And what I did was I started curating them on Instagram. I'd find the pretty pictures, I'd post what they are and just sharing with people. And it took off kind of organically. And then it's kind of grown over the last 2.5 years into the Bargain Homes Abroad it is today. I launched a membership in December of 2021. So it's been just over a year, where obviously all the bargains that I find, some of them aren't Instagrammable, but they're still great and beautiful. It's just the pictures aren't great, or whatever. So
Right.
There's tip of the iceberg is shown on Instagram, and there's literally hundreds that I show every month to members. And like you mentioned, there's also programming. I bring in guest experts that come and talk and do Q&As from, tax questions to what it's like to live in certain countries, what it's like to buy in certain countries.
Wow.
And all that is kind of provided in the monthly membership as well. So
It's so amazing. And thank you so much for sharing. So tell us what like a typical property is. First of all, what countries do you showcase what countries do you work with?
yeah, I mean, I started at first like looking at everything, and then it got super overwhelming, and I really narrowed it down to, for the most part, the highest countries of interest for people, foreign investors, or people looking to purchase second properties or even move, is Italy #1, France #2, and then Spain and Portugal are kind of neck and neck. Portugal is definitely in the last year gone, it's risen like a lot of interest, right? Because obvious reasons. But Those are the main four. And then also UK, not a whole lot of bargains there, but I still try and concentrate on UK, Ireland, Greece, Netherlands, because it does have the DAFT agreement and there's some interest for Americans to go over there and start a business. And lately in the last couple of months, I've seen a big interest in Croatia, and I haven't concentrated on it yet, but I'm bringing in an expert who's going to help me with that and kind of navigate the Croatia market as well. So those are the main ones. Sweden, because there's always these gorgeous little cottages in the middle of the woods that are, you know, like these typical Scandi design ones, and they're so well staged and well lit and well presented online that I have to do those too. So
I've seen those, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're also doing Sweden. Like, I haven't even thought about like moving to Sweden just because it's kind of like really cold. But I went there a couple years ago. I went to Stockholm, and I was like, this is such a cool place. Like, Scandinavia is unreal. The quality of life, the nature, the people. So thank you for showing those too. What is and can everybody put in the chat, like, where is your dream place? And is buying property one of your dreams? Just tell us, you know, where you would want to buy property, just so we kind of know as we're talking. What is kind of like your experience of, well, can we first tell people what is the price range from these properties that you look at? Like, I know part of the brand is called Bargain Homes. So like, what does bargain mean?
Yeah, good question. Bargain is relative, right? Like, we're in Southern California, and a bargain is anything under $800,000. But really what I try and look for in homes abroad, I generally look under, depending on the euro to the dollar ratio, I generally look under 250,000.
Okay.
But the vast majority of the homes that I find are between 50,000 and 150,000.
Okay.
And then, and my criteria is really kind of the typical charm, the old world charm, the stone, the wood beams. That's really the aesthetic that I try and find. And I also try and find pretty much move-in ready. Like, maybe a little lipstick here and there is needed, but for the most part, you know, these are homes that you don't have to go in and do a lot of restoration, because most people don't want to do that when they're, you know, looking at buying a home abroad, because it's navigating kind of construction and renovation, and finding contractors is not whatever. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it could be anything from, last week I featured a 15,000 euro home in Italy that sold really fast and had a huge amount of interest, to 15,000 euros, and super cute. Like, it had the, you know, Sotillo tile floors and the wood beams. It needed a little bit of lipstick, and it probably needs a heating source if you're going to live in it full year, you know, year round. But it was in a town that had a restaurant and 2 grocery stores. Like, it wasn't in the middle of nowhere in a town that was deserted, which you can find, like the 1 euro homes and all of those. There's a lot of that, but at the same time, there are deals to be found that are actually in places that are, you know, populated, and, you know, not the major big cities, obviously, because that's where the real estate gets a lot higher. But if you're willing to go outside of that and look at kind of a different way of life and a different lifestyle, then there's a ton of inventory out there.
So interesting. And like, if somebody wanted to get that like $15,000 home, by the way, I have lived in France, like in Normandy, which is like the north. And I've in the small towns, which are the cutest towns I've ever seen in my life. I felt like I was in Harry Potter. I felt like I was walking through like a Hogwarts village. They also had homes for 15K, 20K. But like, having a home like that, I mean, what are you sacrificing by going that low? Is there any sacrificing? I mean, you said there's probably going to be like one restaurant in the town, one pharmacy. Like, are you going to have all your basic needs in that town, or what do you think?
I think it really just depends. I have found places that are reasonably priced that have, you know, all of the amenities. It really just depends. It could be in the middle of nowhere. And it also, like, you have to take into consideration, it might be move-in ready, but we're used to certain comforts, right, in North America, or, you know, so you have to kind of take that with a grain of salt. Are you going to have a clothes dryer? Probably not. You know, are you going to have multiple bathrooms? Probably not. Are you going to have ensuite bedrooms and walk-in closets? Absolutely not, right? You have to kind of take that vision of what a house is in North America, what we're typically used to, and kind of, you're going to be more. Am I still on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. My screen. But so It really just depends. I try not to do stuff that's too remote, but some people are really interested in remote. And I try and cater to a lot of people looking for second houses to start with because they're not ready to make the leap tomorrow, or they don't have a visa yet, or, the residency can be a challenge. So, I look at a lot of places that might cater to people who are looking for, more of a holiday type home. So
Yeah, I totally
and
get what you're saying.
there's the
And
one in, yeah.
as you're talking, I wanted to share with people, this is the Instagram that I dropped. This is her Instagram, which I dropped in the chat. It looks like I'm not logged in on my desktop, but you can see the types of properties that she shares daily on Instagram. Like this is an example of that $16,000 home.
Yeah.
So,
And what I do on Instagram is I try and do about 10 photos per, or 5 to 10 photos per property. And then on my website, which I typed in wrong, I will give it to you. But on the website, it goes into detail about the listing, about the area. I try and do maps with virtual walkthroughs where there is available, video tours, anything that I can find on the internet for that particular house, I'll do on the website. And then I also have a weekly newsletter. So if people want to reach out to the property owners and they're not a member of the Bargain Homes Abroad Plus, then they get that on every week. I send out whatever I featured on Instagram, the links to the actual agents or property owners or whatever are included in the emails.
okay.
Yeah.
Just thank you so much. You do a lot of work to like hook. I basically, what I'm hearing is you're hooking people up. That's literally what I'm hearing.
Well, I tried my best, but also there's a lot of people that are just in the dreaming phase, right? So I want to cater to that too, is like, I'm at that stage too. I've got a couple of years before I'll be going abroad or, having more of a mobile lifestyle, and that's fine. And we all need a little escapism. We all need kind of a goal in the future. So I try and do that as much as I can, especially on the free Instagram.
That's awesome. And now I want to just share the screen really quick because I have a question about one of these properties. So when you post, like, for example, this one in Italy, is it like one of these apartments in here?
That particular one is an apartment. And I try and do like everything where, like in that castle one on the left-hand side, it's an apartment. It was split into 3 units. There's three luxury apartments within the castle itself.
Wow.
When you're looking at a smaller budget and price range, a lot of times there are smaller village homes, which may be connected, attached semis, or apartments. But again, I try and do kind of like the boat or the barge. And different things that people want to look at.
This is a boat, and it's people can live in there. I'm like, I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah, in London for £700 a month after you buy it. So yeah, amazing.
Okay, now what would a mortgage like? Can you kind of walk us through what that process is like for those that do want to, they sign up for BHA, which is Bargain Homes Abroad, and possibly Bargain Homes Abroad Plus, because we're going to give you guys 30 days free from the freebie. But like, what does it look like for an American or an Australian or somebody from the UK? If you guys want to tell us where you're from, so maybe we know where everybody's from, but like us coming over there, buying property, getting a mortgage, what does that really look like? Is it really difficult for us? Are there certain countries that are easier than others? I know one of the gals I was talking to yesterday, she wants to move to Paris with her daughter, and they think that France is harder. Like, can you kind of walk us through from your experience, like which country is easier or harder and why that is?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways to kind of break this down. Harder because the market is different than what we're used to, right? It's not standardized. It's very diverse. There's no buyer agents for the most part. In a lot of the countries, it's the seller, whoever's the listing agent, which is definitely not exclusive, acts as the buyer and seller agent. And so if you ever want to see and find a property, you basically have to find who the listing agent is and reach out to them individually and schedule a viewing or whatever. So it can be a little bit hard to, coordinate viewing trips and stuff like that, because you're not working with one person who can, like in the United States, for instance, you can have I'm working with a realtor who can go in and get in the lockbox and show me any property that's on the market in the MLS. It's totally different abroad. And there's hundreds of websites to go and search. And it's like, there's no one spot like Zillow where you can go in and search all the real estate listings. You touched on mortgages and financing. It gets a little trickier for foreign buyers with mortgages. I'm not saying it's impossible. There are countries that are a little bit more friendly, Portugal, for instance. I have heard that people have been able to finance in Italy, but for the most part, especially when we're looking at bargain homes, those properties that are up to $100,000, it's probably going to be more of a cash market. There are countries, for instance, like Greece. I don't know the finance situation, but there are golden visas that are available if you purchase property in certain countries. But again, those minimums are a lot higher. You know, I know Greece is raising theirs in April, and I think it's going up to 500,000 euros or something like that. So it's definitely not the bargain home market, right? But yeah, I mean, the biggest challenges really are kind of navigating. Each country is completely different. Navigating what that looks like, what the process is, the language barrier, you know, the purchase process. But there's tons of people who have done it, and there's tons of resources out there. And you know, I would just say, if you know what country you're looking at, really kind of go down that rabbit hole and find people who have done it, whether it's Facebook groups or Instagram, you know, and really pick their brain as much as you can on the process and find people that you trust to navigate the process with you.
Okay, I totally agree, because it's totally different. For those of you that don't know, I'm planning on buying land in Spain, well, a property in Spain, and I want to create like a retreat center, because I've been going through a lot of grief because I lost my dad, and I want to open up like a retreat space to kind of like have people host their own retreats to heal. And so Shan has been sending me, I want to work with Shan like on a consulting basis, because she's so good at finding like these amazing places that I have this vision in my head of like where I want it to be. I want it to be in nature. I don't want neighbors, and she's going to help me with that. So is that something else that you are offering now, Shan, is like kind of like bespoke searches for like exactly what people want? How does that work?
I haven't as of yet, but if there is interest in that, you know, certainly reach out to me and we can talk about it. For now, all I've focused on really is the membership and bringing all the homes in there, and then it's really up to the person to reach out and talk to whatever the realtor is, or if they have. I get a lot of people that reach out and say, "Hey, I'm looking in this specific area. Can you help?" And I just can't do it for everybody, but if I'm willing to I'm willing to like, you know, maybe do that, but currently right now I don't do individual consulting or individual home searches.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, so my next question. Do you know, in terms of the visa stuff, and I know you go into this in BHA Plus, which everybody's getting the free 30 days. I'd already dropped it in the chat. I'll put it again. It's at the bottom of this digital resource guide that you guys, this is her free gift, that you guys are going to definitely want to save, because you have put basically all the links in this digital resource guide as to like how everything people need to know of that country when it comes to property, right?
So basically the digital resource guide, it shows you by the top 4 or 5 countries, the websites that I use to look for listings. So basically, if you want to go out and house hunt on your own, these are the websites I recommend you go and search on a regular basis. Like I said, there's almost 100 of them in the digital resource guide. If you want a place that comes all in one, then you can go to Bargain Homes Abroad. But really, that's the starter point of just to show you like where you can start your house hunt online, depending on what country you're looking for.
Okay, cool. And then what is the visa process look like in some of these countries from your experience, from some of your clients? Which countries are easier in terms of the visa? Because isn't the golden visa, in order to get permanent residency, you have to invest minimum 500K?
I don't even think Spain has a gold visa. I might be wrong on that, but I know Portugal has one, but it's more on commercial properties now, and there's very tight restrictions, and it's changed a lot, and it's ever evolving. I will get the biggest question I get is, well, number one, can foreign buyers buy in countries? And for the most part, the answer is yes. It varies by individual country. The number 2 question I always get is, do I get residency if I purchase a home? The answer is, for the most part, no.
For the most part,
It
no.
doesn't, yeah, for the most part, no. Again, there are certain countries that have golden visa opportunities. You can search those online and kind of get more information.
Right.
The visa process, it's just like anywhere else. So like there's certain, Spain has the non-lucrative visa, which is more of like a retirement visa if you have passive income. Portugal has the D7 and now the digital nomad visa, which you can apply for. Italy has a non-lucrative visa. I think it's called the elective residency visa or something like that. And again, it's more of passive income. You have to prove that you have so much passive income. So I don't really touch on that because it's not involved in the real estate process for the most part. But I do bring in experts that come and talk a little bit more about individual countries and how to kind of go through that process. But again, I would highly recommend finding locals or finding expats who walk people through the visa process, or professionals that actually do that, because I don't touch on that as much.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And I want to go into the chat because some people are asking questions. Pam asked, what about inspections and home warranty?
Good question. Obviously I would highly recommend in each country you do an inspection. And there's different processes. In Italy, I think you have to have like a geometra who comes in and looks at the structural, all of that. But again, it's kind of like the Wild West when it comes to that. And I don't know about home warranties, I'll be honest. I know there's, most countries will require you have homeowners insurance or some kind of insurance for the structure. But that's a good question. Honestly, that's the first time I've ever had a question about home warranty. So I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I believe that's kind of like a part of the closing process, of like, it's similar to here, I would guess,
Good question.
They would hook you up. The agents would hook you up with that if you're interested.
Right.
Let's see. I had another question. Eric, I just laugh because I've seen so many videos on YouTube about this. Can you explain how it works with the €1 homes in Italy?
I don't focus on, I'll be honest, I do not focus on €1 homes. And here's what, they're not move-in ready, and you're going to have to, yes, that's great. You can purchase a home for €1, but there's a lot of red tape and there's a lot of stipulations around it. One being you're going to have to invest in bringing it up to code, whatever that is, within a certain time frame. So you're looking at probably $50,000 to $150,000 in renovations. And two, you're going to have to you have to do it within a certain time frame and all of that. So I personally do not focus on the €1 homes. There's tons of people out there who do. There's tons of YouTube videos, like you said, but I kind of shy away from that because really I'm looking to present properties to people that they don't have to do all of that too.
I agree. And I've seen the difference in like the homes you present versus these €1 bargain homes, like from these YouTube videos or these shows where they go and they try to find this €1 home. I just think, like you said, it's more of a hassle on top of understanding the new cultural way that they do real estate, that it makes more sense to obviously go with what you're presenting.
Sure. I mean, if you're adventurous, I would say go for it. I think, there's tons of people who have done it successfully, and there are people that you can reach out to about it. I don't have the stomach for it personally.
And Shannon, thank you so much. So I'm going to drop again the digital resource guide. You guys have to have that. And then you'll get the 30 days of her BHA Plus membership, which is amazing. You guys are going to love it.
Yeah, so I will kind of explain how that works. Download the digital resource guide. At the bottom of that is a specific link to sign up for the BHA Plus with the 30 days introductory rate free. That's the only link that is out there. So it's within the buyer's guide itself on the bottom.
Amazing. Shannon, thank you so much for your time. And
thank you.
You're awesome. We all appreciate everything that you're doing. And thank you for explaining all of this. If you guys have more questions, I've dropped her Instagram in the chat. So, you guys can start messaging, asking her questions if you do have any. And thank you so much again, Shannon.
Thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be here. Thanks everybody for the great questions. And feel free to reach out to me anytime.
And I want to introduce you to our next speaker, Jasmine. Jasmine and Shannon, I wanted you guys to meet before Shannon hops off.
Hi, Jasmine.
Nice to meet you, Shannon.
Nice to meet you too.
Jasmine
I
is
love your classes.
She loves your glasses, she said.
Oh, thank you.
Jasmine is in Dubai. So if you're ever in Dubai, make sure to hit her up.
I actually have family in Dubai, so we should probably connect.
Oh, where do they live in Dubai?
They live in the city. She works for Faith. It's actually my daughter's sister-in-law and her family live there.
Oh, amazing. Wonderful.
Okay.
Yes, so good to meet you.
Yeah, so I'll let you guys connect afterwards, but thank you so much, Shannon. I'll see you soon.